All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new movie review. And this is not based off of a new movie, but I am going to have a series of movie reviews coming out this weekend, and this is the first of the three. Now, this is something that I recorded with a friend of mine named Lamont Lovejoy. Him and I did a podcast about 3-4 years ago where we would review movies on two movies every week, and we had a channel called We Both Love Movies, or surprise, We Both Love Movies. And we haven't been active on that channel. We kind of gave that up. Maybe one day we'll get back together and do some reviews, but I wanted to preface this video letting you know that what's being attached to this is going to be the original review him and I did on the movie Extraction, starring Hemsworth from Thor fame. And this movie, him and I did not see eye to eye on this movie. And I'm putting this out there because I will be following this up with a review for Extraction 2, which is on Netflix. So here we go with the review for Extraction, the first movie, Extraction.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Surprise, We Both Love Movies. First off, I want to thank those of you who followed and liked us on Facebook and YouTube, and for those of you who subscribe to our podcast on Spotify and iTunes. With the big studios pushing back movies until a larger audience can be attained, we'll be highlighting two newer movies on Netflix. At this stage of the pandemic, most of us have experienced some form of working at home, or for some of us, some form of self-quarantine. And during that time, we've found ways to be entertained through streaming services, old Blu-rays and DVDs, or even some of us dusting off the VCR and finding some old VHS tapes that we had some fond memories of. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Aaron. You can share what has been your experiences so far in the whole, pandemic era of movie watching and entertainment.
Well, the pandemic hasn't affected me at all because I actually work from home, actually right where I'm at right now. This is my recording studio. I'm a voice actor, and that's what I do full time. So that has allowed me to stay home for actually the last 6.5 years. So the pandemic has not affected me at all. What has affected me is my kids being home all the time since March. So I do have 4 kids, and so it does get kind of trying at times. In fact, today they finally went back to school.
Before you even go any further, I want to throw a big shout out to all the moms and dads who've been staying at home while their kids are on Zoom, trying to figure out how to be a parent and complete their work on time. So, with that being said, I just want to say you guys are awesome. If no one's giving you a high five, virtual high five, keep it going. Go ahead, Aaron.
Absolutely. It is crazy what everyone's had to deal with. So today we each chose a movie for the other to watch this week.
Yes.
And I chose the movie Extraction. My father-in-law kept telling me, watch this movie. Watch this movie. It's been in my queue for about a month or so. He told me it was John Wick on. The movie is action-packed. And being a Netflix film, I was a little worried about how the action was going to play out. Happy to say, the action was very well choreographed. One of the best choreographed action sequences I've seen in a film in a very long time. It was easy to follow, and it never gave you a headache. And some of the action is pretty freaking awesome. There are some scenes I'm not going to give anything away, but there are some pretty unexpected things that happened during the film that I did not see coming. And so I actually really enjoyed this movie a lot, and I did not expect to. It had some great performances, great action, and the best part about this film for me was the ending. Endings can make or break a film, and this ending was not an ending I was expecting. And
all right, now with that, I'm going to cut you off, all right?
Okay.
So you're all the way to the end, so here's what I have to say about it, all right? 45 minutes into this movie, you realize you do not care about any of these characters. Like you said, it's a drug lord going after a drug lord's son. Who am I supposed to empathize in that situation, right? And then the guy, Chris Hemsworth, who plays Captain America, if you guys don't all know, he's basically the mercenary Captain America in this movie. He's taking names and he's kicking butt. That's what he does the whole movie, all right?
Thor, right? Thor.
Thor. Oh
Thor.
no, I'm sorry. You're right. Thor. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. Thor, not Captain America. I apologize.
Well, he could have been in this movie, but
he
yeah.
could have been. It felt very similar. It's like watching a live action video game cutscene is to me. There's super cool action and cinematography is very good, is what I would say. But the story is seriously lacking. It's like you're going on a date with somebody who's really hot, who's like a 9 or 10, and then you get down to dinner and the conversation, and that person has nothing to contribute. That's how I felt about this movie.
Yeah, I would say the emotional connection, you're right. It's not there, but the end does have an emotional impact to it. And that's what I liked about the very ending. If you watch it to the end,
I did.
yeah, there's actually a couple of things in here. And I will tell you the best part of the movie is usually one of the most annoying parts. The kid that he was extracting did a wonderful job in his role, in carrying his role through to the end of the film. And so,
Why? Let me ask you this. I watched movies just like you. Why did you feel like that kid did an exceptional job? Because
I wouldn't say exceptional.
Well,
okay?
a good job. Why did you feel? Because his character was so limited. You know so little about him. There was no backstory for him. It was just like, you're the kid of a drug lord.
You are thrown right into it.
Right.
But he forms a bond with Chris Hemsworth. And
that took like 5 minutes. That was like 5-minute bond. That was like, hey, blah, 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 blah. Okay, bond.
It's more than that.
It was, okay, it was a little bit more than that, but not much.
That is the only relationship in the movie that is worth anything in the film.
True.
There's also another female who is kind of leading the mercenaries.
True.
She also had some pretty cool things that happen in the film as well. But you don't have any emotional connection to that character. Everyone else was just window dressing. Now, we did have David Harbour in the film as well. The only two people I think anybody is going to know, David Harbour from Stranger Things, he plays Hopper.
Right.
And you have Chris Hemsworth, and everybody knows who Chris Hemsworth is. Outside of that, everybody else are characters we've never seen. I don't know any one of these actors.
Nope.
I was happy with this movie. In the end, for me, I really enjoyed it. A lot more than the film we're about to talk about. If they made a sequel to this movie, I'd be more than happy to watch it. I would. I would definitely revisit that world again to see what that director would do with a follow-up film. What's funny is the movie was 2 hours. To me, it did not seem like 2 hours, and that's due to the fact that it's a fast movie. Like it throws you in from the beginning. You're not gonna be bored. Nope. You're not gonna wander off, and you're gonna be there entertained for the full 2 hours. So, in the end, for me, man, I hover around probably around an 8 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
Okay, we want to talk about film versus movie, right?
All right.
Does it
get a film score? Does it warrant a film score for you?
For me, as a movie, I would give it an 8.
Okay.
As a film, probably around a 5.
Okay.
It's definitely in the middle. It's not terrible. It's not a B film, nowhere near it. But it's also not a Hollywood blockbuster film.
Okay.
But it holds its own for me. So I really enjoyed this movie a lot.
All right. Obviously, this was not one of my favorite movies. I tried to, appreciate the technical action. I tried to appreciate the cinematography. Like I said, it's a very beautiful movie. It has a high production quality. But overall, based off the fact that there was a lack of connecting or any connection to the characters, and it felt like a poor man's Man on Fire with Denzel Washington is what it felt like to me. All the emotional connection of that movie, this was subtracted and they made Extraction. They literally extracted the emotional connection from Man on Fire. That's what this movie should be called. But as a movie, I have to give it a 5 out of 10 stars. It was entertaining. It's like a guy's movie. As a film score, I couldn't give it a film score because one of the key criteria for me for giving something a film score is my desire to watch it again and extract a different experience. And I didn't feel like by watching it again, I would be able to pull anything out that I hadn't seen the first time. So